LaserPenguinGames. Today we're going to be looking at a newer build for WOW Ascension Season 9. And it's going to be like a shock blast build, to call it. We're using all 3 shocks and elemental blast. And I'm going to be just going over my starting picks, and then I'll go over later what I got from the rolls. But I decided to start with Telemental, Searing Totem, Summoner's Armor, and Shock. And then I'm using a Air Elemental, because I have the stone for it. But also you just get a Rock Elemental if you don't have anything. When you take Telemental, you just get an Elemental anyway. For my ability cards, I'm taking Atali Totem, Arcane Power, Flame Shock, Frost Shock, because we need all 3 shocks, and then we start with Earth Shock and Moonkin Form and our guaranteed Elemental Blast that we need later too. So we'll end up with 2 totems, an Air Totem and a Fire Totem doing damage, and hopefully we'll get some of the overloads for our AoE, because we don't really have a lot of AoE going on right now otherwise. For talent cards, went with Elemental Lord. This is going to give us a random shock buff whenever we use our Elemental Blast. So then we'll be paying attention, basically, whatever comes up. Also, when I'm leveling, a lot of this stuff's not going to come to level 40 plus. So I won't really be able to test most of it till level 60 anyway. I got Shamanistic Focus. Reduces the cost of shocks by 60%. Increases their crit chance as well as their damage. Wing Echo is just another damage buff. And double damage buff. Legacy Argonist is going to give us free meteor drops. Eccentric Elemental is just going to give us more free cast on all our, because we're using 4 shaman cast spells, so hopefully we get a lot of free cast as well. And then to make this build run, we need Primordial Aftershock, so when our Elemental Blast critical strikes, it'll reduce the cooldown of our shocks by 6 seconds, so it'll basically make them another instant cast. And then taking Elemental Dominion will make our Elemental Blasts have no cooldown, so we'll be able to spam it, and then we'll see the shock buff come up to whatever other 3 shocks to use. We'll use that shock and then Elemental Blast again and get another random shock buff. And that's pretty much how the base of the build goes. Reverberation is going to buff our Elemental Blast damage whenever we shock. And then if we fail to crit, it'll also reduce the cooldown of our shocks. Anyway. So that's what we got. There's a few other buffs we can get for shocks that we're just going to have to roll into. So hopefully we can get them. Alright, well, let's see at level 60. Alright, so here we are at 60, and I've done a bit of, I guess, honing and rolls with the scrolls. I ended up buying a few, doing some dailies and stuff, and this is kind of what I ended up with for now. You can see I have all 3 shocks and Elemental Blast, which from our shock blasts, there's our main abilities, and then we got our Arcane Power, which helps. I think the only interrupt I ended up with was Rebuke, which is more of melee, but it's better than no interrupt at all. Although what's nice is that my pet already has an interrupt, and I can turn it off and then click it when I want to use it. When's your pet? So we kind of already have it built in, but our AoEs ended up being Fire Nova, Totemic Overload Air, and Arcane Orb, and then we also have a nice little combo with Tectonic Shockwave and Earth Shock, which kind of is our biggest AoE damage, I think. So this was kind of one of the high rolls we wanted to get for our AoE anyway, so that's kind of nice. So you can see that for each target we hit, our next Earth Shock will hit another additional target as well, so it just turns our Earth Shock into a big AoE, and if we have the damage buff on it from Elemental Blast and stuff, we can do some pretty decent damage with it. Fortunately, it is a 16-second cooldown. So, I mean, it's not that big, but it's still, we still have to have some other stuff to do between. And we're not the best. I think I have Controlled Storm anyway to get mana, but we don't even need it. Like, we have pretty much infinite mana with this, with a bunch of reductions we already have anyway. So, mana is not an issue at all. But we can get more if we need it. So I didn't end up taking any mana abilities because you just don't need them. For my movement abilities, I ended up with Unchained Blink and Charge. Charge not, I mean, it's okay since we do have to kind of go in like mid to close range to get our totems up close to the target to be able to hit them with our fire and air totems. So it's not horrible. It's just not like, it just doesn't do anything if there's nothing around. You need an enemy around for it to be of any use. So it'd be nice to get Sprint or another Blank instead. As long as they don't, some of them share cooldowns with each other. It's just, it ends up being weird, but there's other movements that, like Demonic Leap would be really nice instead as well. For our totems, ended up with our Searing and our, oh, okay, we're not too close here. Let's kind of start attacking. I'll reset that. I got Strength of Earth, which, I mean, I guess it gives us a bit of crit from the base, but we also get our buffs from enhanced totems. And then I got Fire Resistance Totem because I mean, I don't need any of the mana ones, so it's actually kind of better than those, so it stays out too. But these last about 2 minutes, so it's really easy once you have like all the elements, which you can get from doing Mana Storms and buying it from you get it from Millhouse or something like that, and then you can just call it for once, which is really nice. Oh, well, it put us in another instance now. Okay, hold on. I was trying to be quiet. Look, it's like packed with. Look, I can see all the new and returning players. I'm trying to keep it quiet. Go back to instance 3 where it's all quiet and we can have a nice chat without all the people. Okay, see here too, I have a nice I have the nice boomkin form that makes me look kind of like a blue ghost, and it affects your mount and your pet as well, it seems. It's an astral lead. But the only buff I ended up with is Gift to the Wild, and then I got Mage Armor and Summer Armors as well. We do have like a mass invisibility to kind of drop the threat, but it kind of annoys some people because you make everybody like have polymorph. But I'll go look at what actual skills I have here now, and then we'll do like a little bit of a damage thing. Okay, so for abilities, no. This is what I end up for, I guess, for legendaries. So the Tectonic Shockwave was a legendary, so that's kind of a high roll that we didn't get to put in, and then now we have it, which is nice. I mean, besides the Blink, these two aren't really needed neither. We have Polymorph and Freezing Trap, I guess, for some CCs, which I don't know. I haven't really used them either. But also, if you go higher up in certain places, you might need them, or certain raids. But I just haven't really been using them. There's the rest of. I have asked with the Pactival just for run back right now. I mean, I'll see a lot of these. I would rather roll into some AoE spells to test out. I end up with I usually keep one kind of Purify spell as well, just to be able to remove poisons or diseases and stuff. There's also a few different ones you can get, but they're nice to have for certain raid bosses that everybody kind of just purifies themselves, and the healer doesn't have to worry about it. Especially when you end up later in the season in BC. Is there anything else that we really didn't cover? Also, Moonkin form was really nice. We chose it, And then we ended up getting the, you'll see the talents, we got the extra talents. I have Starfall as kind of an AoE too, which is nice because you can just press your arcane power, press Starfall, and then start doing other AoEs, and it kind of just helps with your damage a bit, even for single target as well. And these are just ones I was re-rolling. So we can't really cast any healing spells, or it takes us out of Boomkin form. So I don't really care about having that. We can still cast our racial heal though, which is kind of nice. But yeah, we're not really doing any side heals or anything like that with this build. We're kind of just going to be doing our damage. So these are the talents I ended up with for my extra rolls. I'll say I need to do a lot more rolling to increase a lot of them or fix some of the ones I don't want. But this is what I have for now. I'd write to Zealot for some extra damage. There's Elemental Domination, which we chose. Aftershocks, which we chose in the cards. And then our Elemental Lord as well. This is Overload Mind, which lets us, with our Nature Shock and our Frost Shock, get some extra spell haste. There's our free spells from Centric Elementalists. Basically our 4 main spells are all elemental anyway, so we should be getting some free stuff. Elemental Equilibrium. This is interesting, just some extra damage from if we do Fire, Frost, and Nature within 10 seconds, which we can easily do with our 3 different shocks and our Elemental Blast, which I think is considered fire damage. But we have all 3 anyway, so as long as you can get them going, because basically we're doing Elemental Blast and whatever shock comes up. If we can get them all within the 10 seconds, we get the buff. So sometimes we end up casting the one that the buff doesn't come up just so we can get the other buff. Just it's so weird. Legacy of Arcanist is also nice, just our free meteors from our 3 different elements. And then I end up getting a whole bunch of crit ones. Critical Masses for fire, crit, ignite, just free extra damage dot. Increase all our fire damage 10%. And we got some spell crit, some spell haste. It's more intellect and crit. Some more haste. I think most of them I just try to get just straight up damage, haste or crit, if I could. Color Flames. I think these 2 are to help with our totems for fire. This one helps with our shocks as well, obviously. The Totemic Focus, this is one that's giving us a buff for each. Gain 20 haste and crit rating for every totem, which is obviously awesome. When we put it down, you'll see the stats, enhance the totems, just even more buff for some more spell power. For our totems, we got some more crit there, more intellect, and cost reduction of our shaman spells. This is just more damage for our shocks and more cost reduction, more haste, and spell pushback. Just 5% fire damage, which I might end up rolling away later for just pure damage. A lot of my crit are like 2 or 3 out of 5 right now, so I'll say I'll be able to get my crit up. This is just some more chance to hit. More crit, reach, which is nice. Elemental reach gives us a bit of a damage buff, and just more distance on our spells too. Although we have, like, basically you can go and drop your totems and they'll sit there for 2 minutes as long as they're not hit, and you can kind of go into more of a range position. Some more pure damage, crit, cheat death, only 1 out of 3. I would like to get that up as well. Just nice when you have raid bosses or even dungeon bosses, and mana storms, anything that can just like one-shot mechanic you. You can cheat death, or one of the. There's 2 other ones now that you can get. It will also stop you from being insta killed. Improved blank is just reducing the cooldown of my blank, which is nice, and just lets me travel around a little bit faster as well. This one is giving the whole party 3% damage to me as well. More crit and mana regen that we don't really care about. All damage again. More crit and spell damage from our int. This is mana regen and crit. This helps extend our... Or no, it doesn't extend. It reduces the cooldown of our arcane power and gives it more damage, up from 15 to 20. Also, you're going to need... So there's a whole bunch of these, but this is our spell crit. Extra damage. You're going to want to get one of these to 5. I chose Burnout because I believe it just works the best with our build. More spell crit. This is our improved Moon Conform. I think this one gets everybody 3% spell haste. Just more. There's a ton of different crit and all damage ones here you can get. Booming Echoes, just increasing damage all our shocks. More crit. This is Power of the Elements, so because we have an elemental, we're going to get 5% haste from our air elemental here. And then it's also going to reduce the magic damage it takes. But you can just get, even other elementals have some nice abilities, like the just 5% damage increase. And then we have a few extra that I was kind of trying to roll away and ended up getting. Like, we have Elemental Destruction and Companion, but I'm going to roll both of the ways and try and be upgrading everything else or finding some new ones. So my stats I ended up with, you can see 58% crit right now. And then if I put my totems down, it's up to almost 60% crit, which is nice. And then, oh, went up to 65. I don't know why I was waiting, but I can obviously proc more. My fire spells have more too in the because of stuff like critical mass, and I think I have it in my. So for Mystic Enchants, this is what I ended up settling on. 3 Booming Echoes. So this is gonna improve all our shock and elemental blast. I think it's the only one for elemental blast besides the World Forge. Then I have concussion. So this helps all our shock spells. Critical mass is just under 2% for fire. Under guidance, spell damage based on intellect. I do have balance of power and precision in for chance to hit right now, but if you get enough hit on your gear, you can end up putting, because I only have 1 wizard's elemental blast right now. Again, it's for the spell power. The extra mana restore is not really required, but as you get more hit and improved gear, that's probably better than I have just basic mythic stuff right now. You'll be able to rotate these out for more wizard's elemental blasts instead. Got Level Flows, that's going to help our Flame Shock. Just some Celestial Focus for spell haste. And then we have 3 critical masses. So we have an extra 12% on our crit for fire damage, which ends up being pretty nice. And that is all. So we'll do like some DPS here on the dummy, so you can see kind of the rotation. So I'll put my tomes down first in range, and then we can start blasting. I like to start with the same before, but you'll see when it pops up, you'll see that we have this off. A certain type, and sometimes you can double stack them anyway. And also if you miss a crit, and it doesn't reset the flame shock, but you see them all kind of popping up, and you have a timer. You can just rotate as they come up. We have Frost again there. Fire's coming up through the water, so we can. I'm trying to rotate all 3 so I can get the damage. until you get the one you want. Honestly, the best thing is to just cast when it comes up. And see Earth again. We have the water buff again. Earth and fire up now because we don't cast it. Fire and then we get the Earth right away.
That spell isn't ready yet.
And then we have water up again. 2 meters falling out.
I can't cast that yet.
Getting power back already? Oh, that's Earth. The totem's kind of down the first there. I watch the big go down, sometimes it blasted it, but we didn't blast anything. Crits though, and it doesn't reset the clock. Over 7k here. Target. I like to, I mean, obviously start by gonna push more, but just clicking because I'm standing still anyway. You can see it's hitting so it's not really choosing the fighting line or damage is going up, but our AoE is not fantastic. Fire enough, we just didn't have enough back on to overtake him. Throw water up in the fire again. Pretty nice to the Earth now. Yeah, that's not bad there. I'm doing about 7.5k. Which again isn't anything crazy, but it's definitely enough to push past 200, like solo 200 mana storms. Then you kind of get, because you're cloth wearing, start getting a little bit of trouble, but you can still push more. Just got to upgrade gear. Right now, so the only really item that I would say that you probably want to have, just from doing Mythic Plus and you can just buy it off the vendor, is the Totem of Rage, which gives us crit, but increases the base damage of our Earth Shock, Flame Shock, and Frost Shock by 33. And the rest of my gear is just kind of mostly basic mythics up to Mythic 3 right now. 3 parts of Felhard and 4 parts of Binding of Elements. And then just a bunch of rather random stuff. So definitely it will scale with gear upgrades as well. I've got Arcane Dexterity on my weapon, but so far pretty happy with it as just a, you know, just a basic fun build to try out. Obviously there might be some other things that you come across that I didn't, that'll improve the damage. I think if we look at it, our main damage is going to be also the Ultimate Blast and then a bunch of the shock. I think it's all 3 shocks in a row after that. But that's pretty much it. If you know, if you guys try the build, find anything else cool with it, Again, it's just a fun build. It's not like a super high DPS meta build or anything, but I had fun trying it out, and hope you guys do too. So thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody. Hello, everyone who made it to the end of the video. This is LaserPenguinGames, reminding you to smash that like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps out. And if you're looking for even more content, check out my Patreon here, where I post exclusive video content every month, and you'll have access to all of that.